Captured and released, and oh, how we wish we were talking about fishing, but we are not. It is law enforcement. And disturbing new information tonight about Operation Fast and Furious. ATF agents stop the chief suspect at the border, and they release him. And then, just months later, U.S. Border Patrol agent Brian Terry is shot to death. Could the arrest of the main suspect have put a stop to the gun tracking operation before a border agent was murdered? Rob Margetta is the editor of Congressional Quarterly Homeland Security. Nice to see you, Rob, and tell me what happened. How does someone get stopped and get released?
Well, that was the whole problem with this program, is that instead of stopping gun smugglers who are heading to Mexico, the ATF allowed them to cross over, sell guns with the goal of tracking these purchases and building cases against Mexican cartel leaders. The ATF, the Justice Department has said this is an unacceptable tactic and that they consider this to be a very problematic operation.
All right, when they stopped him, what did they say to him? Did he identify himself?
Well, this was in May of 2010. He was stopped in the Arizona desert, and he was in a BMW with 74 rounds of ammunition, a ledger that referenced both money and guns. And first he tried to say that it wasn't his car, and then he sort of opened up. He said that he was actually on the way to the birthday party of a cartel leader. When an ATF case agent arrived on the scene, she asked if he would cooperate. He said he would. She gave him a phone number, and according to the LA Times, this was actually scribbled on a $10 bill and handed to him. He then disappeared into Mexico and never contacted the ATF.
Now, is there any indication that, he didn't have any direct involvement, as far as we know, in the death of the Border Patrol, right?
That hasn't been determined yet. That would require tracing the gun back to a particular purchase, sale that he made, and that hasn't been at least tracked yet.
And I guess, the correlation with him is sort of the heartbreak that had he been arrested, had he been stopped, had he cooperated, or had at least they not released him, there might have been information so that Fast and Furious was stopped in advance of the incident that led to the death of the border agent, right?
Absolutely, and I should say this was even at the time of the stop, a known cocaine and marijuana trafficker. This was absolutely somebody who was identified as a bad guy right away. And I should also mention that he had ammo in his car and he was headed toward Mexico, and just literally a month before the stop, the Justice Department had issued a directive to the ATF saying we don't allow any kind of gun running towards Mexico, even for monitoring purposes in a larger case. In fact, the Justice Department had reviewed a 2006 operation that used that tactic and had specifically said not allowed, not acceptable.
Rob, thank you. And of course, a terrible tragedy for the border agents, for himself, for his family, and for all his friends. It's a terrible, terrible story. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.